Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Quinn Kirby and I am coming at you from the nation's most highly quarantined state, Michigan. Today's video is meant to try to help support folks that are having some mental health struggles during this time because we can't protect other people if we aren't protecting ourselves first. The intention is to provide some low cost, low resource, low commitment ideas to help you out during your self-quarantine. The most you'll need for the majority of these items that are listed are your internet, a computer, or a phone. But they also require some things that you can probably find around your house, like sneakers or canned goods. I've put this video together not just to help people keep their vitality or regain it if they feel like they've lost it during this time, but because there are also some serious consequences to feeling stressed. Not only does it make you more vulnerable to anxiety and depression, but it also makes the human body more susceptible to disease. The American Psychological Association published an article in 2006, so yeah, it's a little dated, but that's okay. And it was called "Stress Weakens the Immune System." Research found that for stress of any significant duration, and I'm quoting here, from a few days to a few months or years, as happens in real life, all aspects of immunity went downhill. End quote. It also stated a lack of social support can weaken immunity as well. So paying attention to and nourishing our mental functions right now is really important. This video will be broken up into two portions with smaller sections within each portion. The first portion is web and phone-based and will consist mostly of resources you can find online. The second portion is of activities you can just do in or around your living space. These suggestions in particular have scientific evidence behind them that show it can support mental function and reduce stress that can therefore protect you from sickness. All of this being said, I am not a doctor or a medical professional or anything of the sort. So if you're having a crisis and need professional help, either call 911 or go to Blue Cross Blue Shield's website to find alternatives to emergency room care. If you are watching this video hoping to find something specific, each topic will be listed in my description box below with a timestamp link of when that discussion begins, so you don't have to watch this whole video if you do not want to. Also, unfortunately, I am not part of YouTube's partner program, which means that I cannot add clickable links to my video to outside sources. So the next best thing will be me adding numbers to each referenced resource in the video and then compiling those items in the description box under each section and linking that to the resource. I hope that makes sense. Everything that I mentioned will be linked in the description box is basically what I'm saying. Yes. If things get messy, please forgive me. I've never done this before. Thanks. Let's get into it. First off, let's talk money. It's a big source of stress for a lot of people right now. Hopefully, these resources can provide a little comfort and help organize some issues and maybe even solve them. If you have been deemed an unessential worker right now, I'm sure you already know, but on the off chance you don't, the United States Department of Labor website has guidance on state-by-state requirements and state government websites for applying for unemployment insurance. And I do want to note that there is state unemployment and federal unemployment. These are two separate unemployment insurance options, and you should be applying for both. If you work with a nonprofit, own a small business, or simply are an individual looking for another source of funding, you can apply for grants online. GrantSpace has opportunities ranging from extremely specific, like the Young Nonprofit Professionals Network San Francisco Bay Area COVID-19 Relief Fund, to extremely broad, like the Bartender Emergency Assistance Program. It also provides a link to the Community Foundation's list of state-by-state coronavirus relief efforts. Its most recent update at the time I've recorded this was April 27th, 2020. 211.org, which is the online version of the 211 phone number, can help guide you to food pantries in your area, veteran services, and depending on what services your local 211 provides, it might be able to help with utility assistance and support for children and the elderly. If you are unable to pay rent, be aware of the CARES Act. Passed March 27th, 2020, the act provides 120 days of eviction relief to tenants in federally backed housing. During this time, your landlord may not charge you late fees, penalties, or any other charges for late rental payments. However, this act does not nullify your rental payments, and you must pay after the 120-day period ends. Folks who have mortgages to pay can access fanniemae.com for disaster relief information. The site provides additional information for businesses and homeowners. The site also provides information for renters, but only for renters who have rented through the Fannie Mae company. Although I do hope this isn't an exhaustive list of resources, I struggled to find anything else at this time. If you know of any other resources, please comment below and I will add your information to the description box with your username credited or however else you would like to be credited. Moving right along into mental health resources. Because of all of this pandemic craziness and it affecting us in ways none of us could have really prepared for, here are some resources that you can utilize within the comfort of your own home. OpenPathCollective.org is an online resource that helps people connect to licensed therapists at reduced or free rates. The organization is currently connecting people with therapists for online sessions only. Registering with the site requires a one-time fee of $59, but I think it's worth it if you are able to find a therapist that is both effective and provides an affordable service. AnxietySocialNet.com is a community support-based website that suggests books on dealing with anxiety and features blogs unique to the site written by members and by therapists. The site is a little outdated, so I wouldn't expect to meet many people on it, but the content that is there already could prove useful. DBSAlliance.org is a website specifically catered to folks with depression or bipolar disorder. The website can connect you to support groups and other resources, and there are sections for individuals who are looking to better understand depression and bipolar disorder for a loved one who lives with that experience. That can be a useful resource to send out to family members or roommates that don't really understand what's going on. Dialing 211 or visiting 211.org can also provide mental health resources, connecting you to state-specific counseling, addiction resources, and local crisis centers in case of emergency. The Trevor Project is a resource for LGBTQ+ youth, and the website is continuing to provide resources to individuals who may be stuck in unhealthy and dangerous households due to quarantine. The site offers Trevor Space, a social networking space for LGBTQ+ folks to connect with one another, and also offers a crisis service that can be accessed 3 different ways. There's an online chat system, a 24/7 lifeline at 1-866-488-7386, or a texting service that begins when you text START to 678-678. I'mAlive.org connects folks to volunteers trained in crisis intervention. It's an instant messaging-based service that aims to de-escalate mental health crises. CrisisTextLine.org or Home to 741-741 is a free service for folks who need support for any type of crisis: domestic abuse, LGBTQ+, mental health, COVID-19 worries, etc., etc. The service's website actually does encourage people who are worried about the pandemic to reach out, talk to somebody, and they can help you through it. We Are More is an app that can suggest professional aid and aims to connect folks with similar struggles in order to help one another. The app's website, wearemore.life, says the app offers peer support, professional help, and recommendations, and I quote. The thing I like about this resource is there's an online blog as well. Its topics range from addiction, cancer, to pediatric and connective tissue disorders. It really isn't just a mental health resource, and it actually combats mental health as an intersectional issue. Once again, this list is not exhaustive. These are just some resources that I found on the internet that I did some research on. I don't use all of them. I've just done the research and I'm listing off the resources that seem the most valuable. Please let me know in the comments if anything in particular has worked well for you, or if I missed anything that you think could help other people. And now we're on to the second portion of the video, quarantine activities that can help improve your mental state. I won't lie, my schedule has changed a lot since I started self-quarantining. I used to wake up around 8 or 9 a.m. on a pretty regular basis, and now I routinely wake up around 10 or 11. But that doesn't mean that I don't keep the schedule. It's common knowledge that a sleep schedule improves our quality of sleep. But what about daily life? I know I struggle to keep a sleep routine going, and I feel like it's a similar struggle to keep a daily routine on track when there's not an external one imposed. I did do some basic internet searching to find some reputable sources to substantiate the claim that keeping a daily schedule will help your mental health, but I didn't find any sources I could really trust or felt that I could trust. However, I have seen it plastered everywhere, from the news to social media, so I'm adding it to the list. Similarly, I know quite a large amount of people who say that when they look good, they feel good, so maybe try that out. Do yourself up for a day, dress like you're going out, go absolutely ham on your hygiene routine, exfoliate, shave if that makes you feel better, deep condition your hair, moisturize from head to toe. Like I stated earlier in the video, studies show that lack of social support can decrease your immunity. Staying connected or even strengthening connections, if you can, while quarantining, can improve both you and your loved one's capacity to fight off the unwanted nonsense that's trying to enter your system. Texting is personal, of course, but there's just beauty in hearing someone's cadence when they talk or seeing all of their personal nuances in a video call. And for folks who want to hear and see their friends but don't really have anything to say, plan a group chat and just sit there and listen to everybody. It's an introvert's paradise. It's not a coffee shop where you're sitting and everyone's ignoring you and you can just do your own thing, but it's the closest thing we can get to right now. Now, contrary to popular belief, non-perishable foods that are dried, frozen, or canned, don't really have that much of a difference in nutritional value to fresh produce. I won't lie, it always is better to get fresh produce, but we're in the middle of a pandemic. So what are the ways we can manage to eat healthy during our quarantine? Canned foods and staples like rice, pasta, beans, and other items can be combined to create full-on, delicious, nutritious meals that fuel both your body and your mind. There is a branch of psychology that goes by the name of nutritional psychology. It focuses on how what we ingest affects our mental state. A 2017 American Psychological Association article, The Link Between Food and Mental Health, cites a study done where a small group of depressed individuals, 67 of them to be exact, were randomly assigned either 7 sessions with a dietitian or 7 social group sessions over the course of 12 weeks. 8% of the control group gained remission from depression, while about a third of the group of dietary intervention folks did. Here are a couple items to look for when you go grocery shopping next. Rice, dried or canned beans, any sort of nut butter, dried or frozen fruits and vegetables. I do want to note frozen fruit can get a little expensive, but since they're frozen, they should last a lot longer than fresh produce. Take this into consideration as you look into the future and figure out what sort of eating habits you want to implement. Also, make sure the canned veggies you're purchasing are without added salt and that your canned fruit comes in water and not syrup. Canned fish, and similar to canned fruits and vegetables, watch out for what it's packed in. A lot of canned fish and canned meats can get some oils in there that aren't necessarily a part of the animal when it's packed and add a bunch of unnecessary fats. Nuts and seeds, oats, soup, and jerky. And with the soup and jerky, make sure you're watching for sodium content, because once again, there can be a lot of added sodium that your body doesn't really respond well to. Yes, exercise. I know you're super excited to be hearing this from me too. If you're already in the habit of exercising, awesome, keep it up. I am sure you have figured out ways to modify your habit to work with your current situation. And if you're not in the habit, you don't have to start with an hour a day sort of routine at home. In fact, please don't. You are more likely to hurt yourself than actually get a decent workout in. And you don't really need to be going to the hospital or any sort of doctor's office right now. Something I particularly love about my generation is we're bringing the fun back into fitness. It's spring. It's the perfect time to go exploring while social distancing. If you live near a wooded area, go out and explore, go hiking, wear high socks, long pants to protect you from poison ivy, discover new plants and fungi, go for a walk if you live in a city, and listen to a local podcast on your town's history. Rollerblade, skate, bike, if those things are readily available to you. Create makeshift free weights with tires, pipes, whatever you have lying around. Just make sure you aren't partaking in any group sports with people that you aren't quarantining with. Additionally, make sure you take off your shoes as soon as you come inside from an outdoor activity at this point. Your shoes can carry bacteria that's been lounging about, and you don't want to bring that inside. Similarly, don't use water fountains right now. Public water fountains are not where you should be getting your water. Bring along a reusable water bottle so you can drink your water when you're out for a walk. If you are unable to go outside or are looking for other options, yoga and bodyweight options are always available. Since we're focusing on exercise that is accessible to everyone, many of the resources that I'm about to list only require an internet connection and your body. CorePowerYogaOnDemand.com has 6 free yoga videos and 2 guided meditations. If you do have free weights already available, there are 2 additional videos with free weights at this address. The Core Power Yoga YouTube channel has many more videos with older videos explaining how to safely execute some poses, and newer videos going into full-length 75-minute practices. Pvolve, spelled P.VOLVE, is a fitness brand that has started live streaming workouts on its Instagram story every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Bandier does something similar every weekday, and both accounts tend to announce their schedules every Monday. Occasionally, these workouts will say that they require an exercise ball or a free weight, but that's why there are more suggestions coming. YMCA360.org brings some YMCA classes to you through video format. I'm honestly pretty impressed by the variance of sports and fitness options they have on the website. There's bar and tai chi and options that specifically cater to seniors. YouTube is also a great place to find bodyweight fitness videos and inspiration. Blogilates is a pretty popular fitness channel. Obi Vincent has a few solid bodyweight routines, and Yoga by Biola is a great channel to follow if you're wanting to ease yourself into a more spiritual yoga practice. If dance is more up your alley, then 305 Fitness has a bunch of dance videos made to be followed. At this point, it's pretty common knowledge that sunlight can improve your mental state. If this is your first time hearing this, or you don't completely understand how that's possible, here is a quote from Keeping Your Sunny Side Up, an article written in 2006 by Dr. Stephen Genuis and published in volume 52 of the Canadian Family Physician. The study reports that levels of serotonin in the brains of participants increased in direct relationship to their exposure to sunlight. The study found that the rate of production of serotonin by the brain was directly related to the prevailing duration of bright sunlight and rose rapidly with increased luminosity. So what are some ways we can get some of that luminosity? Picnic, either by yourself or with the folks you're quarantining with. You can be mindful in the sunshine and enjoy the food that you're nourishing your body with. lather yourself up in some SPF and go lay in the sun like it's the 80s. Studies have been inconclusive when it comes to a standard for how many minutes of sun one should be getting a day because of differences in the strength of UV rays at different latitudes. But the websites I visited seem to say between 10 and 40 minutes of direct sunlight with an extra layer of SPF every half hour if you're laying in the sun between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m., which is the point in the day when UV rays are the most intense. Go on the internet or pick up your grandma's old field journal and discover some new plants and animals and fungi, either around your house or at a public park. And while you're at the park, do some of that writing you've been meaning to do, or that reading, or that homework, or pick up the camera gathering dust in storage and go snap a few photos. Now that I've got you thinking about an old item in storage, let's talk about hobbies. You've probably heard that right now is a great time to develop a hobby or get back into an old one. However, I want you to kill the idea that you need to be productive while in quarantine. So if you do want to get into a hobby or reconnect with an old hobby of yours, don't do it because you're going to be productive. Do it to keep your mind off of things. Do it to make yourself happy. Don't do it because you need to show people that you're doing something while in quarantine. If you used to love puzzles, start a new puzzle. If you have leftover yarn from the last time you tried knitting or crocheting, use the rest of it. Take a look at what you have routinely pushed aside in your cupboard and look up a recipe online that combines all of them and create something completely new. Play some board games or card games. In fact, a lot of board games or card games these days have online versions that you can play with groups via video chat, so that's a great option if you want to play with people that you haven't been quarantining with. If you've always wanted to get better at makeup, get better at makeup. Start a garden or learn more about the plants that you already have. Get into a new genre of media. Tap into your spirituality or religion or delve deeper into science that interests you. Something else you can do if you tend to let your environment go when you're stressed out is cleaning and decluttering. Similar to the hobby suggestion, I don't really have any scientific evidence to support this, but once again, similar to the hobby suggestion, it can help you get your mind off of things. I'm the kind of person who gets into a decluttering euphoria as soon as I start. I just put on some music, zone out, and then 12 hours later, I'm like, there's nothing else for me to find, to organize, or to clean. Like, what can I do next? I don't know, it's like a gear goes off in my mind, and my brain's much more refreshed because there's a different palette to look at. It's like taking a different route to work. It keeps me more awake, or at least it feels that way. An actual benefit to this is that if you have allergies or sinus issues, by dusting and vacuuming, you're probably reducing the chances that you're going to sneeze a lot. So that's nice. And finally, a couple techniques rooted in psychology that can help you when you're feeling out of control of your own mental state. Grounding is an umbrella term for a specific effect caused by different coping strategies. The grounding technique that I use most often is meditation. You've probably heard of the app Headspace, but Calm is also a good option, and I personally use the app Insight Timer because there are guided meditations, courses you can listen to on a bunch of different topics, of course an actual timer you can use to time your meditations, and sleep meditations that really help me fall asleep because I struggle with that. Another grounding technique is to pick one of the 5 senses to focus on and describe everything, whether mentally, on paper, or out loud, everything you're perceiving around you through that one sense. If you're still feeling off kilter after you describe everything from one sense, move to a different one and repeat. You can also do a mental body scan, going from the top of your body down to your toes or vice versa, and just noticing what each part of your body you can name or feel feels like. And of course, Other options can be found online if you search grounding techniques. The actual act of reframing is a part of cognitive restructuring in psychology. This version I'm sharing with you is a way less scientific and professional version, but it works in a pinch and I've found it to be very helpful. Note, however, that you have to be aware of your thoughts, and sometimes noticing what you're thinking is difficult if you don't actively try to notice what's going through your mind, and that's where those mindfulness and grounding techniques help. When you notice a negative, scary, or illogical thought pop up, look at it like an object that is separate from you. You have that thought. You are not that thought. Take, for example, I'm stuck at my house. That's a thought that you can change. You can reframe that to say, I am safe in my house, or I am protecting people I care about by staying home. You have the power to change that thought, but make sure that you are also not negating those feelings you have, because those are valid, real feelings. But by noticing that negative feeling that you're having, you can both validate it and change it to something that doesn't feel so destructive. Well, that's it for this video. I hope that there was something you could gain from it. I hope at least one of these ideas can help life in quarantine be a bit easier for you. Please, please, please put your mental health first during this time. As I said before, it can affect your physical health, and we need as many mentally and physically healthy people as we possibly can have during this time. It's important always, but it's even more important now. Thank you for taking the time to watch, and please contribute any suggestions in the comment section below. I will add them to the description with your username credited. Please stay safe, stay sane, stay healthy. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.